Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Daily Football Zone. It's Monday, March 28th. I'm your host, Keb. I'm here with Nahum. How you doing tonight, man? Long time no see.
It has been a minute since I've been on the show, but I'm glad to be going and excited to talk about this crazy ass free agency.
Yeah,
Crazy.
man. There's a lot going on in free agency. Still some going on. I mean, you still got a lot of big notable names that are out there. Today we're covering the AFC West. We're gonna give our free agency grades as of Monday, March 28th. Again, once this gets posted, there could still be players. Obviously, there's still gonna be players getting signed to teams. There might be some going to the AFC West. Might have to, if not, make another video talking about that, depending if they're a big name or not. Say like if Stephon Gilmore went to the Raiders, I might just do a video on that. But as of March 28th, these are pretty much the players that we're going to be talking about that are signed, or that were let walk, or still free agents as of today. Also, a bunch of trades. Obviously, each team in this division had either made a big trade or received either a big name player or got rid of a big name player. So it's been pretty much a crazy past month, especially in the AFC West. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, it's been super crazy, and I feel like we're gonna get talking about this in a little bit, but I feel like a lot of it had to do with the Russell Wilson trade. Once that trade happened, a lot of dominoes started to fall, and I think the other teams they had to catch up. This is again it's going to be a crazy, maybe it's the craziest division in the whole league. Might be the craziest division we've ever seen. So all these other teams had to make some moves to catch up.
Yeah, man. The Russell Wilson, that trade was just like sparked the whole beginning of everything, this chaos, of the 2022 free agency. But we'll go straight into that. We got the Denver Broncos up first. Got a little clip for y'all. Some key players. I'm getting somewhat better at the editing. Eventually, I'll be top notch. But as of right now, we working with what we got, because Mr. UCLA right here, Nahum, he hasn't taught me his editing skills yet. 'Cause, I'm not a college graduate or nothing. But
these are secrets I have to keep for myself.
No, man. But we can get straight into the big trade we're talking about, which was quarterback Russell Wilson. I'll break down the trade again. Actually, I don't think I talked about the trade since Daily Football Zone came back, because, like I said in past videos, took a brief hiatus in 2021. A lot of stuff happened. Just busy, and I ventured into other podcasts, and it was just a busy year. But Daily Football Zone's back. Maybe Russell Wilson's the reason why I brought Daily Football Zone back in 2022, because it was I gotta speak football, man. I was kind of boring not speaking football on here. But I'll break down the details for y'all. So pretty much, the Denver Broncos traded for quarterback Russell Wilson. In return, Seattle got a 2022 first round pick, which is the 9th overall, a 2023 first round pick, a 2022 second round pick, which is the 40th overall, a 2023 second round pick, a 2022 fifth round pick, and also some players, quarterback Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, and defensive lineman Shelby Harris, and they received Russell Wilson in a 2022 fourth round pick. I guess the first thing I'm gonna ask you, Nahum, is who won that trade?
Oof, that's a tough one, but just from the first look of it, it's obviously Denver. Whenever you have the chance to add a franchise quarterback to your team, just like last year with Matthew Stafford, and I forget which GM said this, but no one cares what the Rams gave up for Stafford. Now that they won the Super Bowl, they
panned out.
Yeah, so not saying Denver's going to win the Super Bowl in their first year, but anytime you get a chance to get a franchise quarterback, it's a win. And they gave up, I think the best player. They gave up Noah Fant, which is a good player. They gave up Shelby Harris, which is a good player. Draft picks, obviously. But, right now,
they gave up a lot, and I get the comparison with the Rams and the Broncos, but I'd say this though: the Rams are obviously still a better team. Absolutely. With Jared Goff. The Broncos, I don't feel like I would say was in shape compared to what the Rams were when they traded for Matthew Stafford. Get what I'm saying? Like, you
Yeah.
know, Denver got a young, talented team. They got a young, talented team, especially on that defense, and then at receiver, and then you know you got running back Javonte Williams going into his second year. I'm torn between it because they did give up a lot for Russell Wilson. If you actually look at it, he's actually been he was obviously hurt last year, and then he didn't have the greatest 2020 campaign. He started off good and then ended pretty cold. But they did give up a lot. I feel like it'd be better if they kept Noah Fant, because to be honest, I can't even tell you who their tight end is now. Is it what's that guy's name? Albert. I don't even know how to say his last name. Albert Oakland. It starts with O. Man.
Albert.
Yes, I can't say it. I just know he's fast and men. But I can't think of who else they have at tight end. Shelby Harris. I mean, he's a good defensive lineman. He's also up there in age, so I mean that's, I guess, a fair value. And then they gave up Drew Lock, which, you know, Seattle might roll with him, or they might draft a quarterback. But I'm hearing rumors they might stick with him.
Yeah, I think they might stick with him. Seattle liked him. There's people in the building that liked him when Drew Lock was in the draft. And if you look at it from Seattle's perspective, I mean, Russell wanted to leave. If you pay attention, you know, all these rumors the past year and a half, maybe he's been wanting to leave for a while now. He's had frustrations with Pete Carroll, not with Pete, the person, but I mean,
front office
philosophy and you know, the whole run the ball defense. If you look at the offensive coordinators that have been there for a while, that have been there during Russell's term, I mean, they've all been pretty mediocre. None of them have come from good offenses or good teams, and so
also this failed to protect him too. They have never addressed the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not with a top tier lineman.
Yeah, and just I mean, if you're looking at it from, again, Seattle's perspective, did they treat Russell like a franchise quarterback? They gave him good weapons. They didn't give him the best coaches, though. They never gave him a formidable offensive line after the LOB days. Like, his offensive line was always shaky, and they never. It's not like they ever were a pass first team. So
yeah.
Look at their perspective. Like, why pay him as a franchise quarterback if you're not going to use him as a franchise?
And that's the thing that bugs me, because as a Panther fan, I understand that statement, because I felt like, especially with Cam's term in Carolina, they never want to address the offensive line because they can scramble. But that doesn't mean to not address the offensive line, because if you have offensive line and you can scramble, it just makes your offense much better to begin with. So why spend your money on different positions and then not spend money on the offensive line just for your quarterback to take a beating, just because he can at times, get out of the pocket and scramble, but that's not all the time. And that's how these quarterbacks' careers don't last long due to injuries, and also you don't get the best out of their ability. You don't see. I mean, Tom Brady. I mean, he always has a good O-line, and he also gets the ball out fast. But put him on. I say this: you put Tom Brady on Carolina's, you have him with Carolina's offensive line, and he'd be taking a beating every damn game.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you wouldn't
there
be
was a
playing
reason he went to Tampa Bay. There was that whole line was set before he got there. And they drafted in the first round. He was there. His first year there, they drafted that All-Pro rookie. I forgot his name. The right tackle.
Tristan Wirfs.
There we go. Yeah, and that just completed the already good offensive line. So yeah, definitely Tom needs his good old line.
Yeah, and he's going to Denver, which, what I remember, Denver, their offensive line's not great.
It's decent.
Yeah, and you still you got a lot of young talent. We can get in some of the talent they signed this free agency, and we got linebacker Randy Gregory, defensive tackle DJ Jones, cornerback Quan Williams, guard Tom Compton, Billy Turner, linebacker Alex Singleton, and quarterback Josh Johnson. So I mean, they addressed the offensive line with some of their signings, and then obviously you steal edge rusher Randy Gregory from the Cowboys, and also DJ Jones coming from San Francisco, who's a pretty good interior lineman. But they also we'll have the grades. I'll cover some of this before we get into the grades. But also they re-signed linebacker Josie Jewell and defensive tackle Deshaun Williams. So that's pretty much some notable signings and re-signings. But then they let some key guys go. They let quarterback Teddy Bridgewater leave. He went to Miami. Guard Austin Schlottman. How you say that? Schlottman?
Yeah, let's go Schlottman.
Schlotman. He went to Minnesota, and then linebacker Micah Kaiser, who they traded for from Los Angeles. Was he involved in the Von Miller trade, or was he separate? Because I know
No, he
he's
was
from.
separate. Yeah, he was in the trade.
'Cause I know he's from
Oh, the
LA
Von Miller
before
trade,
that.
not the Von Miller trade was just draft picks.
Yeah, you're right. This was a separate trade they made with the Rams. So, yeah, he went to the Raiders, but they still got some veterans that are unsigned still in free agency that are available, which is a cornerback Kyle Fuller, running back Melvin Gordon, cornerback Bryce Callahan, safety Kareem Jackson, linebacker AJ Johnson, center Brett Jones, and then their offensive tackle Bobby Massey. Um, we can get straight into the grades though. I still gave Denver an A. Nahum, you gave him an A minus. You want to explain why you gave him an A minus?
Yeah, it was just because, well, I got a few bones to pick. One was with Randy Gregory. I kind of thought that was a desperate signing by the Broncos. I think they saw all the edge rushers coming into the AFC West and were like, oh, well, we need one too. And I mean, I just feel like he kind of came on last year. It was his contract year. Had a good year with the Cowboys, and then this offseason with the whole contract thing, he was agreed to the Cowboys, and then there was some language regarding him getting paid with so the Cowboys, with all their players in the contract, they say if you guys get suspended during the season, then you're not getting paid, even if it's guaranteed, you're not getting your money. And Randy Gregory, with all his suspension history, clearly wasn't comfortable with that.
Been suspended a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, that's why I'm like, so with the Broncos, they were cool with it. They're like, oh, if you get suspended, no, we'll still pay you the same money pretty much as the Cowboys contract. So I think that's pretty sus to me. And I think it was kind of a desperate signing. He's good. I don't think he's obviously
worth the money
for. And then with the Kwan Williams, I think he's a decent player. He's been injured the past couple years. He was good in 2019. I like the Jones signing. That's a good replacement for Shelby Harris. But the reason I gave him an A minus is and they had the good O-line depth signing. But the A minus comes from there's going to be some type of road bumps with the first year head coach, first year defensive coordinator. I feel like the defense is going to take a big step. They were a top 10 defense last year. I think they'll be like a middle of the pack defense this year with the transition and all that. I just see some bumps in the road with the first time head coach, or a new defensive coordinator, and a new franchise quarterback. I just think there's going to be some bumps in the road. That's why I give them A minus.
Yeah, I get that. It'll be interesting to see how their 2022 pans out because you got a whole new front office, pretty much, and a new coaching staff. You got Russell Wilson in the building now, but you still got a young team going up against a lot of good teams now in the AFC West because the Chiefs are still the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill or not. The Chargers got better, and you can say the Raiders got better. So it'll be interesting to see.
I don't think the Chiefs are still the Chiefs without Tyreek, but we'll talk about that.
Well, we could talk about that. We'll get in that discussion since this is the AFC West. But yeah, I gave him an A. I think if they didn't trade for Russell Wilson, obviously that grade would be probably in the say like C plus range, B minus. But I give him A because of Russell Wilson mainly. Randy Gregory, you made some fair statements on that. I do think that signing was kind of overhyped, and him reversing on Dallas kind of made it more media attention, obviously. But I like the DJ Jones signing. They addressed the offensive line with Tom Compton and Billy Turner, who are veteran guys. You bring Quan Williams, pretty much. Well, probably that likely means Bryce Callahan's going to hit free. Is not going to be re-signed, and then. They bring back Josie Jewell, Alex Singleton. A lot of Philly fans were up and down with him, but he did lead their team in tackles. I think past 2 out of 3 seasons. But I gave him an A mainly because of that. But it'll be interesting to see what this team does if they can compete or not because it just it's hard because you're in the AFC West and. You're in a first-year head coach, and then obviously Russell Wilson's playing for a different team for the first time in his career. How can he adapt in a new scenery? So, it'll be interesting to see how the Broncos play in 2022. I'll ask you this: it's kind of early, but do you think they'll be? I guess now they have 17 games. You technically Could you say, well, yeah, will they be above 500 or under 500 this year?
That's tough. That's tough. Uh, all these teams are so good in the AFC West. It's like I see
Or,
them being around like a 9
or
and
could you
8.
say what place will they finish in the AFC West?
I'm gonna say like second or third, and I want to say third. I'm gonna go with third. Yeah, I'm gonna go with third.
Third. Okay.
Which is still a playoff team, probably. With this
Yeah,
with
it'll
all
be
these,
interesting. I can see them make some. I can see them either making the playoffs, just missing the playoffs, or yeah, it really just depends on the other teams, and then also injuries play factors. So,
of course.
it'll be a good one though in 2022 when it comes to this division. I'm sure they'll get a lot of primetime games out of these teams too. But we can go into the next team we got that's in the AFC West, which I went in alphabetical order. So the next team by city. The next team is the Kansas City Chiefs free agency, and I know Nahum's a Charger homer, so of course I don't blame you for the booze. But pretty much this is what we got off today is they trade wide receiver Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins, and yeah, you were mentioning that. So what do you want to say about Tyreek Hill in this situation and the Kansas City Chiefs?
It's just a big loss for them, man. It's not gonna be the same Chiefs, the same deep passing, like this man. I mean, watching the Charger game so closely, and I watch Chiefs games pretty closely too. But when we play the Chiefs, man, and I think the same goes for all the other teams. Tyreek Hill is the number one person they try to stop. Like you first approach stopping Tyreek, and then you worry about Travis and all the other receivers and whatever.
Speed kills, man.
Speed kills, and he's got the most of it, man. He's just. I mean, he's 28. I sort of get it from the Chiefs' perspective. He did want a lot of money after that.
Either pay him big, but then you also got the Mahomes contract. You got Kelsey needing to get paid. So I meant it's pretty much one or the other between Kelsey and Hill. Because I don't see them being able to give him.
They got a decent return. But
yeah, I can give you the info on that. They so pretty much Miami gave up a 2022 first round pick, a 2022 second round pick, a 2022 fourth round pick, a 2023 fourth round pick, and a sixth round pick in 2023. So that's 5 draft picks.
The Dolphins, Stephen Ross, their owner, he'll give up whatever to get star players. He just wants star players. But.
Yeah, and they also gave him a contract extension as well. I don't got the numbers on the top of my head, but
I'm just saying, I mean, this just changes. Tyreek Hill being guy is it's bittersweet for me too because I'm glad to see him leave the division.
Right.
But
I'm sure you're happy.
It's gonna be different without him, man. He's in my opinion the best receiver in the league. So it was just a huge move, and we'll talk about the free agent signings.
Yeah, we can get some of their signings, which I don't think their signings are. I actually don't mind their signings now that I look at it. Obviously, none of those receivers on the screen right now are Tyreek Hill, but they signed safety Justin Reed to pretty much replace Tyrann Mathieu. Wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster because they want to make TikToks with Jackson Mahomes. Wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling, serviceable guy. Did his thing in Green Bay. Obviously not Tyreek Hill. Offensive tackle Jerome Christian. He came from Houston, I believe. Linebacker Jermaine Carter Jr., who came from Carolina. Running back Ronald Jones, and then safety Deion Bush, which they announced the Deion Bush signing around the time they traded Tyreek Hill. So I remember I saw a tweet saying something like, "Oh, I'll be back later" or something like that. Because something like that. Because he tweeted like, "Oh, welcome," hey Chiefs Kingdom or some shit, and then he tweeted like right after, like, "Never mind, I'll be back later." Because the whole Tyreek news, blew up saying that he might be out, and then eventually it did happen. But I didn't even speak about the Jets when it came to Tyreek Hill right now, but that's all good. But yeah, that's pretty much the players they signed. They also re-signed a couple guys, offensive lineman Andrew Wiley, tight end Blake Bell, defensive tackle Derek Noddy. Is that how you say it? Noddy or Derek Noddy? Quarterback Chad Henne, and then they franchise tagged offensive lineman Orlando Brown Jr., which they got in a trade last year with Baltimore. And then some cuts. They let a couple guys go. Cornerback Trevarius Ward, he went to San Francisco. Austin Blythe went to Seattle. Safety Daniel Sorensen one of the only white defensive backs in the league. Which Chiefs fans are happy he's gone, but he went to New Orleans.
Yeah, they are.
Wide receiver Demarcus Robinson went to rival the Las Vegas Raiders. Defensive tackle Jerron Reed went to Green Bay. Former first-round pick cornerback Mike Hughes went to Detroit, so he's back in the NFC North after being drafted by Minnesota. And then Mr. Wide Receiver Byron Pringle is off to the NFC North as well to play for the Chicago Bears. And then a couple notable unsigned players, safety Tyrann Mathieu, and that'll be headlines wherever he goes. Linebacker Anthony Hitchens, another outside linebacker Melvin Ingram, offensive lineman Mike Remmers, who blew the Super Bowl 50 for us. Hopefully you don't get signed again. Running back Darrell Williams, veteran offensive lineman Kyle Long, defensive lineman Alex Okafor, and then veteran running back Jerick McKinnon. I gave him a C. You gave him a C as well. Why a C?
So I mean, most of it, I probably would have given him honestly like a B plus before the Tyreek Hill trade, man. Because that again to me just changed the whole offense. And like I thought the reason they got Juju was because the way teams stopped them last year is they were doubling Tyreek. They would sometimes double Kelsey underneath, and it'd always leave everyone else one-on-one, and no one else would win their one-on-one matchup. So I thought, okay, they bring in Juju. That guy, the third receiver, to win those one-on-ones. But he's not going to be getting that no more because Tyreek Hill is gone. So again, it changes how everyone else defends the Chiefs. Yeah. And they bring in Scantling from
Green
Packers,
Bay.
Who, I mean, it's funny if you look at their contracts. What Juju's getting 3.5 guaranteed just for the 1 year. Yeah. And Marquez is getting
30 million.
It's 30 million, but it's like 18 guaranteed for 3 years. And it's like if you look at their numbers, it's. I mean, Juju had almost 1,500 yards in one season. I don't think Marquez ever had over like 700, 800. But I know.
I think maybe they're basing it off the potential Scantling. Because Juju has statistically dropped, and he did get hurt last year. He's coming off an injury year. I mean, but then your point where you're talking about to pair him with Tyreek Hill, he did have his best career year. It was 2019 when he was paired with AB. Yep. So yeah, I thought that was a good signing if you're pairing with Tyreek Hill. But now that you get rid of Tyreek Hill, it's that bringing in Juju's not as glamorous, I guess you could say.
And Marquez, he's a speed threat, no doubt. He's like 6'5", runs a 4.3.
But he's not Tyreek Hill.
He's not Tyreek, and like keep in mind, this guy had he has untapped potential. Right? Let's say that. All right, this guy had 4 seasons with Aaron Rodgers, the greatest quarterback of. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He was still a slow developing receiver. It took him some time. So I know the Chiefs are hoping that he clicks with them. But then on top of that, through the next offseason, Marquez will be the only receiver on contract. All the other receivers will be like restricted free agents or whatever. So I just think the receiver room. They're gonna draft a couple, obviously. But,
yeah, they'll probably draft someone at 28 and 29.
But what saves them is Justin Reed from the Texans
to replace Tyrann Mathieu. And Matthew's getting up there in age. Justin Reed's still in his prime.
Yeah, Matthew not bad is gone at this point. Reed is a good single high safety. Chiefs like to play man coverage, single high. Shavarius Ward was a good corner for them. The one that left, he's a good corner, but got the payday somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm at San Francisco.
Yeah, to me, they're the only, they lost Robinson and what's his face, Pringle. I just think, their receiver room is going to be very interesting. But I still don't doubt Andy Reid. Yeah. I still have faith in Andy Reid.
And Mecole Hardman gets a lot of, he got a lot of hype, but he hasn't panned out to what the hype was coming into the league and game paired with, Mahomes. I mean, you got Josh Gordon, but Josh Gordon is Josh. He's not Josh Gordon you thought he was going to be back when he was with the Browns and getting drug tested every week type shit. It's not the same Josh Gordon, obviously, but Reed was a good signing. Bush, I'd say Bush is better than Daniel Sorensen. You bring in Ronald Jones because you lost Jerick McKinnon and then Darrell Williams. Both.
Hey, I'm surprised they didn't keep McKinnon. That boy was going off in the playoffs. He had his burst back.
Yeah, as of right now, he's still available. Maybe they might, they might make a move because free agency at this point never ends. Plus, by the way, we're a month away from the NFL draft. Just wanted to put that out there. I gave him a C. You gave him a C. Looking at it right now, I kind of wanted to bump it up to a C plus, but Tyreek Hill, man,
I mean,
because y'all did that, it stays at C.
yeah, I had him as I would want to give him a C plus, but I would have hoped they. I mean, uh, again, I don't want him to succeed, but if they do want to succeed, I think they should sign Orlando Brown to a long-term contract.
Yeah, I feel like they franchise tagged them to make that happen. It would be smart too, especially when, again, you're paying your franchise quarterback so much money. You need to be able to protect them, or you're gonna end up like what I said with Cam Newton and Russell Wilson, where they don't invest in the offensive line, they get banged up, and and the rest is history from there. So yeah, if they don't bring back Orlando Brown, I don't know what the fuck they're doing in that front office.
Mm-hmm.
But they got to get him to a contract extension. If it's not, hopefully within the year, during the season.
He wants to be there too. He wants to protect from Mahomes. He wants to be there.
I'm sure he wants to play for Mahomes. You got a top quarterback in the league. Like, I'm sure why wouldn't you want to protect him?
Exactly.
Prove you're worth the money too, that you're protecting your franchise quarterback. So yeah, C grades from both of us. Now we can get into the one I know you're excited to talk about. You're wearing it on your that's Charger jacket, right? Yeah, you got the Charger jacket on. Got the Los Angeles Chargers free agency. Got a little clip for you right there. Got some guys in SoFi Stadium.
Beautiful.
We can start off talking about the Khalil Mack trade. You call him a linebacker, you call him an edge rusher, what you want to call him. You pretty much gave up not that. Obviously, you gave up not that much compared to what Chicago gave the Raiders. You only gave up a 2022 second round pick and a 2023 6th round pick, so pretty much a steal. I mean, he is coming off injury, and he did have a big contract, but to pair him with Joey Bosa, if I was a Charger fan, I'd be stoked, and as a Panther fan, I'm stoked for y'all. Hopefully both of them can stay healthy all season and apply pressure to opposing quarterbacks like Mahomes and then Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, and whoever else y'all got in your schedule. But yeah, how are you feeling when that news broke out? When whatever Nahum was doing on that, I can't remember what day even was, like a Saturday. Yeah, how are you feeling about this trade?
Man, I was stupid excited when it happened. I was in traffic, just screaming, yelling, just let's go, and just I'm still hyped, man, because I mean, I'm hyped, and all Charger fans are hyped, but Coach Staley, Brandon Staley, he's more hyped than anyone else. This man loves Khalil Mack. I'm sure everyone knows by now that he coached Khalil Mack in 2018 in the Bears, and they had their best defense or whatever. And Staley has said, in Staley's defense, he doesn't call them DNs or linebackers. He calls them edge players. So Bosa is an edge player. Khalil Mack is coming in as an edge player, obviously, and he says that Khalil Mack is the gold standard for the edge. He's as good as it gets for an edge. That's what he uses as teaching tape. So he's excited. I'm excited. He's going to be great. He's going to shore up the run game, the run defense, and then on top of that, him as a pass rushing, it's just going to make the whole defense better.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked to see how that defense looks, because we can get into some of their signings. They signed cornerback J.C. Jackson, defensive tackle Sebastian Joseph Day, so he's staying in L.A. Defensive tackle Austin Johnson, tight end Gerald Everett, going back to L.A. but with the Chargers this time. Long snapper Josh Harris, which was what was that, from Atlanta, and then punter J.K. Scott. And then you re-signed the one of the finessing quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks, Chase Daniel.
And then so jealous of his career, man. God.
And the defensive tackle Christian Covington. But you did let some good guys walk, like linebacker Ukena Nwosu, and then defensive tackle Justin Jones. Another linebacker Kyler Fackrell. Offensive lineman Scott Quessenberry, and then linebacker Kazir White. And then a couple of notable unsigned veterans like defensive tackle Linval Joseph, cornerback Chris Harris, tight end Jared Cook, offensive lineman Michael Schofield, which is not missing out with him, running back Justin Jackson, and then punter Ty Long, who you replaced him with J.K. Scott from Green Bay. I gave him an A. I gave another A out in this division, and then you gave him an A minus. Why the A minus? I know you don't want to be biased, but why the A minus?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I just So the A comes from just in general. If anyone just pay attention to the Chargers, they know the run defense was the biggest problem, and that came down to like two factors. I'd say one was Staley's scheme, him coming in putting in his scheme when the whole defensive roster was made for the cover three. For the past 4 years, we had cover three, so our defense was formed to that. But Staley comes in, this whole new way of you know playing the blocks and defending the run and attacking gaps and what gaps to play with all these D linemen. So trouble with that. And then on top of that, they were all light. There's no big men on our D line except for Linville Joseph, but
And
he's
then
just getting up there in age. So
I mean, as a veteran, no, that's not doing
so
much.
Sebastian Joseph Day, Austin Johnson, along with Khalil Mack, those guys fit what Staley wants to do on the D line. And Sebastian Joseph Day and Austin Johnson are, I think they're both over 300 pounds. So
Yeah,
bring
two
some
big boys in the middle, and then you still got
Yeah, we
Jerry
need
Tillery.
both.
You still got
Um,
Jerry Tillery from a first round pick from a couple years ago. Obviously, nothing spectacular, but I mean, it's still a serviceable guy to pair with those two. And then you bring tight end Gerald Everett, reuniting with Brandon Staley, because Brandon Staley was once with the Rams before the Chargers. Same with Joseph Day. That's the reason why he came to the Chargers, because of Staley. And you get a long snapper, then you get a punter in J.K. Scott. And then another big signing, cornerback J.C. Jackson. Mr. Interception himself. How you feel about that, and how you feel about the contract? So y'all give him like what, a 5-year, $82 million, something like that?
Oh, well, I think we got it for a steal. I mean, he's top 5 corner easily. I mean, he thinks he's the top one, and I thought he was gonna get top 1 corner money just like Jalen Ramsey, around $20 million a year. And I think we got him for 18 a year. And if you look at the breakdown, I know it's the cap hits aren't horrible. I mean, at least not until to me, when I look at the contract, I know it's a 5-year, but it's more of a 3-year with the next 2 years. The team has the option to keep him at the high salary or cut him. But yeah, I love it. Say that we needed a good man coverage corner. Again, our whole roster was all zone corners and from the cover 3. And so now that we have Asante, we have JC, we have Mike Davis, who has potential to play man. He just got to put it together. I like it. But the reason I gave him an A- was because we had some room to do stuff, but letting Kaiser White go is our best linebacker easily. And there could have been some moves made at the linebacker and right tackle, but I think they're waiting for the draft. So.
Yeah, I feel like those are some positions that you get addressed in the draft. And then I forgot. Yeah, they also resigned Christian Covington, so another defensive tackle that obviously be in rotation with Tillery and Joseph Day and Johnson. So I'm sure there are going to be a lot of rotations going on in that defensive front. But yeah, getting J.C. Jackson was huge, and then you get Khalil Mack. You address that defense, and then your offense is already explosive when you got Herbert, Keenan Allen, and Austin Eckler. He was hurt in 2020 and then came back and had a great year in 2021. So the offense is already good. Also, I meant to put on there. You also gave Mike Williams a 3-year, $60 million deal. I forgot to mention that on there.
By the way, it looks great. Now, after all these receivers are signing the contracts, Mike Dove's contract looks.
Right, even now everyone wants all these these big contracts now. But at the time I was kind of like,
No, I was
before all the trades, but with the trades that end up being contract extensions. But now you look at it, it's being a former first round pick, he can be hot and cold, but he does make big plays at big time moments. So not a bad
he still has so much more room to grow because his hands, if his hands get better, he had a lot of drop passes, so I think he's still got room to grow. Yeah,
and then you give Mr. Finesse Chase Daniel a $2 million contract for a year, and that guy, he's made I think I saw the stat, it was like over $40 million in his career just to be a backup. He was only started like 5 games or so. Like, this man has been finessing the league like Sam Bradford. Not making Sam Bradford finesse, but like he's still to be a backup, not to get hit, and then just living this man can chill. I mean, if he plays, he spends his money right and invests it or whatever he wants to do with it. This man can be chilling for the rest of his life and not to hurt a bone. And not even have to do much but hold a clipboard and talk to Philip Rivers and Justin Herbert and all
Mm,
these other quarterbacks that he was a backup to,
hmm Living the
So
life.
yeah, I give him an A. I feel like if you're able to get Nwosu back and then let Kazir White go, maybe an A+, but
Yeah, no,
it happens.
Nwosu,
People are looking for paydays, and obviously not every team can give that. So especially when you make other moves for players like Khalil Mack.
hey, Nwosu though, he was good. Hey, he balled understated last year, but he's one of those guys. He's lighter, faster D end. He's the cover 3 guy. The cover 3, they want those fast linemen to shoot the gaps, whereas Staley wants our linemen to be bigger and hold the gaps and kind of hold it at the point of attack. And
Yeah, it makes
so that's
sense. I
why.
mean, he's looking
Yeah,
for a payday. You addressed what you need. So,
exactly. He
is what
wasn't
it
a
is.
scheme fit, and yeah, it's good to let him go somewhere else. Hey, look where he went to, Seattle.
I'm in Seattle, so he can pan out to see how he pans out there. But
He'll
we got
fine. He'll be decent.
we got one more team, man. We got one more team,
This is what I'm trying to talk about. I'm excited to talk about this team right here.
and they got a whole new regime there, and they're in a new city. I think what is this their third year? They're going to their third year there. You got the NFL draft being held there in a month. Nahum's paying for our trip to go out there. And
The
that's
last one didn't go through because of that damn COVID.
yeah, but now Nahum go book the hotel. We got the Las Vegas Raiders, and they made some big time moves as well. And I know you're still sick from that Week 18 loss at Allegiant Stadium. But we didn't get to talk about that because Daily Football Zone was taking a break. But I was at the gym watching that game. I did like over 12 miles. My body was hurting, bro. After a day, I also worked that day too, so I did like 20 miles that day total.
Oh,
And I'm not your size, I'm not the biggest dude in the world, but I'm not in shape like you, Mr. Six Pack. But
hey, you getting there though? You getting there.
I was tired, bro. But yeah, we can get into the free agency, man. Which I did talk about this when we went on Daily Football Zone Live a couple weeks ago. Man, I was walking to I currently live in Escondido, California, which is in San Diego County. Hopefully I can move out here soon. I'm only here for certain reasons. It might change soon, but I was walking down. If you're from Escondido, if you ever heard of Frida's Taco Shop or wherever it's called, bro, that's where I was headed. I was headed to get some tacos. I was walking across the street with my girlfriend, and she's like, I'm looking at my phone because I'm like, well, why is my phone blowing up? And I'm in the middle of the street. People are probably looking at me like, what the fuck's this man screaming about? Because I see the news that Davante Adams was traded. I'm like, bro, what the, pardon my language. I know I've been cussing a little bit, but what the fuck, like, I know there's been rumors and Derek Carr and Adams back together type shit, like speculating that would happen, and it actually did. I'm like, what the fuck, I'm just here trying to get some carne asada tacos and horchata real quick, and I wanted that horchata especially. But next thing you know, I see Davante Adams street. I'm like, what the, luckily I didn't have my drink in hand or next. I probably would have fell out my hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably would for you because you being a Charger fan, I'd be kind of like fuck, like pissed off, because if that was the Saints or the Buccaneers, I'd be mad. So, but yeah, Davante Adams is a Raider. He's in Las Vegas. And to be honest, you look at the Tyreek Hill trade now, they didn't give up much. All he gave up was a 2022 first round pick and a 2022 second round pick. They didn't give up nothing else compared to Miami giving up 5 draft picks and 2 of them, was it 2 of them first rounds or was it 2 second rounds? I can't remember. I just went over it too.
2 second rounds, yeah.
2 second rounds, 1 first round, 2 second rounds, like a third and like a 6 or a fourth or something like that.
Yeah.
Still, like, that's a lot, and you're only able to give up 1 first round and 1 second round. I mean, it happens to be the same year, but so I feel like that's a bargain for Davante Adams, who you could say is the best receiver in the game. I mean, it also sucks that the Raiders aren't going to be able to see the Raiders draft till late day 2 because you don't got a first or a second, and you're in Vegas. But unless they decide to trade trade up maybe into back in the second round or something. But we'll see what happens on draft day because things can obviously you never know what happens. But Yeah, man. How you feel? You being a Charger fan, obviously you disliking the Raiders. Being a rival. How you feeling about this Devontae Adams trade?
It's a good move by them, but I'm not too worried. I'm not too. Hey, there's a
And
there's a
JC
reason.
Jackson said that to be ready. So
And we got JC now, so it's we even more prepared for this. But
it's gonna be a battle 2 times a year.
hey, I'm personal. No one really shares this opinion with me, but I don't think Devontae um, is the best receiver in the league. I think he's around fringe top 5 receiver, and I think
Are you saying Aaron Rodgers played a factor because of that?
1,000%, 1,000%. I think Devontae's best skill, along with his feet at the line and all that, is his mental connection with Aaron Rodgers. That's one of the most important skills he has. And so
he's reuniting with his college. He's reuniting with his college quarterback. Is the chemistry going to be there still? Could he bring out the best in Derek Carr? Or I'm not gonna say could Derek Carr bring out the best in Adams? Obviously, I don't need to say that, but could he bring out the best in Derek Carr?
I don't know. It's up to McDaniels. Again, I was telling some people this. Derek Carr, he was working under John Gruden for what was it? 4 years, maybe 4 years.
Yeah, it was like 4 years. Yeah.
4 years, yeah. And by the time Gruden got fired, fucking Derek Carr knew the whole offense like the back of his head. This man was like a mini John Gruden. They didn't have to, they didn't need to change anything in the offense. They still ran the offense. This man memorized. Yeah. He mastered the offense. 4 years.
The interim coach, what was his name? The special teams coach.
Which they should have kept. I think they should have kept him.
I think so too, but obviously he wasn't the one, making all the decisions during the game. Obviously,
no,
he's just playing his role, obviously, as the interim head coach. But the coordinators are doing everything,
and the players loved him. So that's
they still play for him, and they ended up making the playoffs because who would have thought they'd make the playoffs to begin with, and then you lose Henry Ruggs, and then Damon Arnett, who was also a first round pick, is be stupid and do dumb shit, and then you lose your head coach due to emails from a decade ago, so it's kind of impressive, to be honest, that they're able to make the playoffs, and they allowed the Steelers to make the playoffs because they decided not to tie with y'all.
Hey, one sec though. I was saying I don't think Devontae's top 5. I think he's fringe top 5. He's 5. But
you're gonna get a lot of backlash, man.
So that's fine. That's cool. But look at what the teams gave up for him. What did the Raiders give up for him? The first and the second, right? What did the Dolphins give up for, like you just said, for Tyreek? Way more. I think that also speaks to what NFL teams think about these receivers.
Hey man, Jets are trying to give up like a second and a third. So
no, they wanted to give up like 2 seconds, I think, or like they were going to give up 3 or 4 draft picks for Tyreek,
but they weren't first.
Yeah, they weren't. Yeah,
well, obviously, and that's why the Jets didn't get him.
yeah.
Obviously.
But with Mike McDaniels coming, or Josh McDaniels coming in, his new offense is going to be totally different than obviously what Gruden was doing before. And I just think there's going to be some transition. There's going to be some. It's not going to be a super smooth transition. I think Devontae will put up numbers though. I think he will put up numbers, but this man, he didn't get double teamed when he was in the Green Bay. I don't think he's as huge of a threat as everyone's saying, and he's 29. It's gonna be the year's gonna be 30. So I'm not super scared. I don't think this guy's gonna like prop to the. I don't think he's gonna do to the Raiders what everyone else.
I'm gonna have to come back to you after the season in this convo though, man.
Please do.
You can make your statements. I respect your statements, man. But again, you're also going to the Raiders. You're not getting. It makes sense to me. You're not getting the ball thrown to you by Aaron Rodgers. You're getting Derek Carr,
in the perfect spot every time.
But then you still got, if they still got the chemistry there compared, they still went to college together. Something that we'll see what happens, man. But then also you got a not a first year head coach, but a first year in Vegas head coach, Josh McDaniels, which you already saw his first stint with Denver wasn't great, and he was also accused of cheating and all that. And then you got a new GM and Dave Ziegler. It'll be interesting. They're just like Denver, pretty much. You got a whole new staff and. You got some new key players. It'll be interesting to see how the Raiders and both Broncos, how they pan out, for this first year, especially after all these big moves they made. And speaking of big moves, like the Raiders made a lot of moves, and this wasn't the only trade. They traded defensive end Yannick Ngakoue to the Indianapolis Colts for cornerback Rocky Hudson, and I'll break down everything we can get because I want to get back to this topic as well because they also signed defensive end Chandler Jones, which is why I want to go back to the other one. But then we got defensive lineman Bilal Nichols from Chicago. Running back Brandon Bolden, familiar with McDaniel's offense, obviously coming from New England. Cornerback Anthony Averett from Baltimore. Wide receiver Matt Collins. You got offensive lineman Alex Bars from Chicago. Fullback Jacob Johnson that also came from New England. Cornerback Darius Phillips. So they're just in secondary. You got a former first-round pick by my stupid Panthers. Defensive tackle Vernon Butler. Played with Buffalo last year, the past couple seasons. And then you got wide receiver Demarcus Robinson. Coming from rival Kansas City. And then I had to make another banner because there's so many players. Another former Carolina Panther running back Amir Abdullah, tight end Jacob Hollister, linebacker Kyler Fackrell from the Chargers, and then you got linebacker Micah Kaiser that was previously with Denver and the Rams, and then defensive tackle Kyle Pecco, brother of former defensive tackle what was his name? The Bengals. I can't remember his first name. You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
The Bengals, which Bengals?
Defensive tackle Pico. I can't think of his brother's name. Pecco, how you say? His brother used to play for the Bengals. He was there for a minute. Like he doesn't play anymore, but he was with Cincinnati like through all the 2010s. I can't remember his first name though, man.
Was it the linebacker or the?
He's a lineman, defensive tackle, just like his brother.
Talking about Geno Atkins? Or?
No, it's literally his brother. It's same last name's Pico as well. Pecco. I can't think of his freaking. I think it starts with a D, but I can't think of how to say the name. But his. I was trying to give a fun fact, but but I can't think of his brother's name. But then you also got veteran safety Deron Harmon, who came from Atlanta, but also was familiar with McDaniels during their time in New England. And then you got linebacker Jayon Brown from Tennessee, and then Mr. AAF quarterback Garrett Gilbert. Also was on Carolina at one point, and then he started a game for Washington last year. But yeah, pretty much taking Marcus Mariota's spot. They re-signed offensive lineman Brandon Parker and then Jermaine Alumoner, however you want to say it. See, I need to practice these names. But then they let several guys go. They let wide receiver Zay Jones walk and got paid by Jacksonville. Quarterback Marcus Mariota is replacing Matt Ryan in Atlanta. You got veteran cornerback Casey Hayward also headed to Atlanta. You got defensive tackle Quentin Jefferson. He went back to Seattle. Fan favorite fullback Alec Ingold went to Miami. I don't blame him. Linebacker Nicholas Moreau. He went to Chicago. And then you got linebacker Markel Lee. He went to Buffalo. And then as of today, defensive lineman Solomon Thomas is going to the Jets to reunite with Robert Saleh during their time in San Francisco. And then notable inside, you got Carl Nassib, defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins, running back Jalen Richard, who is they used him a lot in John Gruden's offense, and then he got hurt, I believe, and then just kind of faded away when you bring in Kenyon Drake and all that. And then veteran linebacker KJ Wright, back was serviceable for the Seahawks during their LOB days. Mr. Richie Incognito, crazy man himself. Wide receiver Deshaun Jackson, who I think should retire by. I think his manager said something today. He tweeted something saying that he's back, but he didn't say if he signed with a team or he's just back with him under management. I don't know, but I saw that tweet today. And then cornerback Desmond Trufant, veteran, that was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons in the first round. I'll give you a fun fact. His brother was Marcus Trufant, the Seattle Seahawks cornerback. I think they both went to the University of Washington, the Huskies. Running back Peyton Barber, former Buck, former commander now. And then defense tackle Darius Philon, who he was with the Chargers, right? Darius Philon. So which he wasn't that bad, but he's still unsigned. We can get into our grades though. I gave him an A. You gave him a B. I gave him a B. I didn't think you were going to give him a B, maybe a B plus, but I didn't think you'd give him a B. Why the B?
Well, I mean, we can see, from all these free agent signings that they have, that this team next year is going to look completely different, and next year is going to look different. A year and 2 years from now, it can look completely different. Again, this 2021 team was 4 years of Gruden and Mayock, and this is what we wanted to put on the field. This is the team that was built in their vision. Now McDaniels is in. I'm telling you, this whole team's getting wiped out. The whole D line is all gone. All the unsigned people that we just had listed, they're all covered 3D linemen. They're all the D tackles, Solomon Thomas, Yannick Ngakwe was a very covered 3D lineman. That's why he got traded to the Colts, and Gus Bradley's over there. So the defense gonna look a lot different with different people coming in. There's gonna be some there's gonna be what do you call it? When you're still working something out, I don't know. There's, like I said with the other teams, there's gonna be bumps in the road. There's gonna be a transition phase is gonna be a little tough. Yeah, with I just think Averett and Brown, Jason Averett and Jayon Brown, they're good players, but it's just a whole new defense that's coming in, and it's like, I mean,
I say this though, man. I'll say this.
Transition.
I'll say this. I know I guess you could say they're in a new regime, but they are coming off the playoffs. I say this though. You look at Chicago's free agency and Atlanta's free agency. They're both in rebuilds, and they're obviously not signing big name players. You know, the Raiders are kind of, I guess you could say, somewhat in a rebuild. It's more of a new staff type of own and then general manager. They still got good players, and then they're still bringing in big name players like Chandler Jones and Anthony Everett's not bad. He's a good corner. Then you got Demarcus Robinson, who's a serviceable receiver as well. And you got Devontae Adams. Hunter Renfrow had a career year. You still got Darren Waller, who's going to hopefully stay healthy this year. And then Brian Edwards is going into his third season. And then you replace Jacob Johnson, who knows, obviously, McDaniels' offense. You replace Alec Ingold with him. And then Brandon Bolden's obviously going to be a Jalen Richard type of guy, too, because and he plays special teams, and he's familiar with McDaniels' offense. And then, you trade Yannick Ngakwe to the Colts, and you get Rocky Hudson back, who's still in his rookie contract, who's young, who I liked out of college coming. You know, he went to a smaller school, but I still liked him coming into the draft. You know, and he had a pretty. Yeah, he's a good corner still, and I like that trade due to the fact that you do get Chandler Jones. So at that point, it's like you can keep Ngakwe for a rotational guy, or you can get rid of him and get a decent player out of him, and you got Rocky Hudson, and I don't blame that. So, I like that trade, and because you get Chandler Jones, you pretty much upgrade at that, and then you're upgrading at the cornerback position. That's one of my favorite signings, the Chandler Jones. So that's why I gave him an A. You bring back Brandon Parker, which I think they'll need to address the offensive line somehow, if it's in the free agency still or in the draft. Brandon Parker's obviously not a great offensive tackle. And now you see this, you trade your first and second round picks for Devontae Adams. Now you don't got to reach for horrible players. Obviously, it's a new regime, but still, like, you're not getting someone like Alex Leatherwood at 17th overall, who probably would have went day 2. So I mean, you don't got to worry about that as a Raider fan until next year and see if McDaniels pulls the same type of bullshit. But obviously, you got a whole new GM and a whole new coaching staff, so it'll be interesting. Again, I like the Devontae Adams trade, because he obviously didn't give up that much, and he's still a top receiver in the game. With Aaron Rodgers or not, you get Derek Carr, so you get your college quarterback back that you obviously still have chemistry with. And then he brought in a lot of depth, and Bilal Nichols is a pretty good D lineman too. He was he coming from Chicago, he's a serviceable guy. Not a Khalil Mack, but he still will do his thing in the interior, because he can play defensive tackle. Matt Collins is he's been around the league, coming from Miami. Spent some time in Philadelphia. Then you get Alex Bars from Chicago as well. Darius Phillips, another key rotational in the guy in the secondary. Vernon Butler, who's me as a Panther fan, obviously a horrible first round pick for us, and that's right after our Super Bowl year. We got him at, we're at 31. So I feel like they got some key rotational guys, obviously def signings, and that's why I gave him an A. Some guys that obviously know how McDaniels is going to run this team, because you get Deron Harmon on the defensive side of the ball, and then again, Bolden and Jacob Johnson. So it'll be interesting to see how how this division is going to be really good, and you can expect a lot of primetime games. A lot of primetime games coming these teams' way. And I remember a fun fact from last year. Like, last year was the first time in 20, I think since 1990 or some shit, that Denver didn't play on Monday Night Football in a season, so like you can
Wow.
guarantee they're gonna be back on Monday Night Football this year.
Yeah, I think all those years of John Elway, huh? All those years of John Elway just
John
continuing.
Elway and this somehow obviously Broncos have a pretty big fan base still, so
They do, yeah.
um, their stadium was on fire last week, but I don't know how that happened, but
Same, especially with all that.
They let Russ cook in there. They let Russ cook.
Yeah. That's what they're saying. Huh?
Yeah,
Nah, man. One more thing about the Raiders. They hired their defensive coordinator from the Giants, Patrick Graham or something like that.
Yeah.
I think he's a good coach. He always made the Giants defense look better than it actually was. So, considering the talent they had, but he's always had slow starts. He runs a multiple defense. Again, Gus Bradley, they had cover 3. Patrick Graham's gonna switch it up every week, run the too high, disguise his looks and all that. And but yeah, in his time with the Giants as a defensive coordinator, his teams have always had slow starts because, well, I guess that just comes with the philosophy that it has. I don't know. They just play. They have a slow start. I don't know. And then that tendency, along with this whole defense being new people again. Last year, everyone besides Max Crosby is out on defense from last year. These are all like new people. So I'm super curious how this is gonna go.
I'll tell you this, man. If the Raiders want to be serious in this division, and if they want an A+ grading, I don't know what their cap is, but it seems like the cap don't exist anyway. What they need to do, especially since the defensive coordinators from you said Giants, right? I can't remember who. Yeah, you said it's Giants, right? Yeah, I can't even remember who it was. Who they hired as the defensive coordinator. But I'll say this: since he come from the Giants, I'll give him A+ and to be an actual contender. Since your defensive coordinator is familiar with the Giants, what you do is cornerback James Bradbury is on the trade block. He's been in trade rumors. You trade for him.
Yeah.
You give up a late round pick and Jonathan Abram, because obviously the Giants need a safety because they got rid of Logan Ryan and they don't got Jabril Peppers. You give up a pick and you give up Abram and you get James Bradbury. Then to replace Abram, you still got Morik back there if you want to keep Divine Diablo. I know he could play safety, but they also use him at linebacker. But you can, if you have the money, like I said, bring in Tyrann Mathieu. Bradbury, we drafted him in 2016. He was a second round pick out of Stanford. He's probably like 28, 29. So he's still young.
Oh, he's still young. Yeah.
So you do that, and then you could say that they got a good defense, and that you can say they could be a contender. Ziegler, hire me as an assistant GM. Make it happen.
Hey, I love that move. If they did that, that would be a great.
Make it happen. Obviously, the cap don't exist. Sign Tyrann Mathieu. Get rid of Abram because he hasn't been nothing spectacular anyway for being a first-round pick. You get James Bradbury in return to help the cornerbacks, and then you still got Morgan his second year, and then you got a veteran in Tyrann Mathieu. Do it.
That'd be a great move.
And I'll buy my Bradbury jersey first second it happens. So send this memo to Ziegler and McDaniels to make it happen.
You would buy a Raiders Bradbury jersey?
If they take my advice and they do it, and they hire me as assistant GM, GM, or whatever type of title they want to give me, yeah, I'll buy a Bradbury jersey. But yeah, man, we hitting the hour mark. It'll be a very interesting season. I still got more draft. Not draft. I keep saying draft. I got more free agency grades coming up for each division. And then if you're able to join me on those, that'd be great. If not, I understand because we're all busy out here. This is the first video we dropping though for the free agency grades because again, the AFC West was a crazy free agency division with all the trades and all the signings. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments. What was your favorite signing in this division, or what was your favorite trade? Let me know how you feel about the AFC West and how you feel about the AFC West going into 2020. You can follow us on Twitter at DailyFZ, Instagram at Daily Football Zone. You can also check us out. I also got the podcast out on Spotify. Hopefully to get them out on more podcast platforms soon. But if you got Spotify, you can check out the podcast version on there. And thank you, Nahum, again for joining me tonight. I know it's been a minute, but always enjoy talking football with you, and I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. Yeah. With that being said, I'll see you on the next video, and which will probably be the AFC West free agency grades. But until then, see you next time, and thank you.